Greetings, my name is Nat Dunn, and I'm currently enrolled at Moody Bible Institute in Spokane, Washington. I'm pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Aviation Technologies, emphasis in flight. So basically, I want to be a missionary pilot someday. I guess I ended up here at Moody for a lot of reasons, but just rewinding back through my childhood, it probably started out with me just really having a big peaking interest in just being able maybe to fly someday. I think when I was 9 or 10, my dreams were, oh man, I want to be an Apache helicopter pilot, in the Army or something like that. But that didn't last for very too long because my vision kind of went downhill a little bit. So I was like, well, military is not for me, I guess, if I'm going to want to fly someday. So I remember going to missions conferences with my dad, and I would see the MAF ministry booth, Mission Aviation Fellowship. And, I was like, wow, mission aviation, of course. That's so cool. And I just remember hanging out with some of the recruiters there and talking to them. And so basically my thought process was, wow, if I was a missionary pilot someday, I'd be able to fly, which is a big thing I want to do someday, big dream of my of just my future life. And I'll be able to help in the process of just spreading Jesus across the globe, which I know that's something that God wants me involved in the future, whether that's through prayer here in the States or whether that's through telling my next door neighbor. You get the big idea. So yeah, so I was like, oh man, I think I want to be a missionary pilot. So I told my parents about it, and they were like, yeah, and they reminded me of, like Nate Saint and Jim Elliott and that whole story of, the end of the spear and what went on there. If you guys haven't heard that story, you should definitely go read it or watch the movie Into the Spear. Super good story, super good. Anyways, side note, back on topic, how I ended up at Moody. I guess I was talking to some of the recruiters, and most of them were like, one of the best schools is definitely Moody Bible Institute. They have a great mission aviation program in Spokane, Washington. So since like my sophomore year of high school, I kind of had my mindset, Moody Bible Institute. I think that's where God wants me, And so my junior year, I came up here to Spokane with my mom and toured the program. And I remember my mom was, just as excited, if not more excited, for the program and me maybe being in it someday than even I was, which was just super cool and encouraging to have that from my mom, for sure. Anyways, so yeah, my senior year, I filled in my application, sent it in. Probably about 2 weeks later, I got a letter back with acceptance. Oh man, I was stoked. I was like, well, I think this is what God wants for me, because He hasn't really opened up any other big doors, big opportunities that I've noticed from me coming out of high school. And He's accepted me to Moody Bible Institute for some reason, whether that's to learn something or whether I'm going to fully make it through the program. So yeah, man, I was stoked. So yeah, I came here as a freshman last year, 2011, the fall of 2011, and yeah, so here I am. Been here for a year and a half, and it has been the most amazing year and a half of my life.